Okay, so before we start doing more balance, remember you want to be stacked properly over your feet and ankles. So drift your pelvis forward, feel the weight in your toes. Pull your pelvis back, feel the center of your pelvis weighted over the front of your ankle. Rib cage even front to back, crown of head up on top so that you're aligned. Pelvis, ribs, head all lined up with each other over your ankles. Put a finger on top of your head and just gently lift up into your finger and have that sense of floating up. And as you do that, let your feet relax down into the ground and be very aware of the ground underneath your feet. Release your hand, keep that nice stacked feeling. Double check, have you lifted your ribs up in the front if you're a rib thruster? Drop them down if you're a rib dropper. Push your pelvis forward. Keep your alignment. Keep that sense of floating up into your imaginary finger, into your imaginary balloon as you lift one foot off the ground. You just make a little prayer position with your hands and really feel the ground underneath your foot. Be sensitive to the ground now with your foot. Your foot is listening to the floor. And you're just going to turn your ribs one way and then the other. You're still looking forward, looking at one spot in the center of your room. If you lose your balance, just come back to the center. Make sure you're keeping floating through the crown of your head, things evenly stacked. Now, turn your head with your rib cage. So your eyes are no longer fixed on one spot. And if you go too far, like me, you might lose your balance. Just come back to the center, restack, refloat, without any tension. You're not rigidly holding yourself up. You need to be fluid. Your foot is nicely responding to the floor, responding to the movement, and you are fluidly moving above that foot. Now let's do the other side. Again, find your pelvis, rib cage, and head stacked. Your head is floating up. You've got a nice lift as you come into your balance. First, just turning your rib cage only, rib cage and shoulders, and your eyes are still fixed forward. Feel how your foot responds to what's going on. You're trying to keep everything else stacked and even. And now turn your head as well as your rib cage. If you think you're floating off your central axis, then just stop in the middle, reset, and go again. Let's do one more to each side here. And back to the center. Just regroup, re-find your foot feeling the floor, re-find your lift, weight over the front of your ankle. I drifted forward, and release. A little shake. Come back to your first foot again. Get your pelvis, your rib cage, your head stacked over the front of your ankle. Keep your nice sense of floating softly. Feel your foot connected down. Lift your other leg up. And then you're just going to reach that leg back behind you. And maybe you tap down, maybe you don't. And come back up. And then reach to the side. And come back up. And reach forward. And come back up. Try not to have the body respond like mine just did then. Instead, just have the foot be responding, if you can. So everything else is quite easy and relaxed. The foot is actually working quite hard, but in a soft, exploratory kind of way. And back to the center. Lift your knee up, rotate around. Turning your pelvis. Whoops, I went too fast, and I lost my connection to the floor. Keep the connection of your foot to the floor. One more. And land down. We'll shake. And we'll do all that on the other side. So, weight of your pelvis over the front of your ankle, ribs over your pelvis, head over your ribs, floating up into your imaginary balloon. Keep that balloon feeling, floating your head up as you come into your balance. Reach back. Reach to the side. Reach front. Do that again. Responding, you're allowing your foot to respond to the movement to help you stay light and lifted in your balance. And then circle up and around with the knee. This will move your pelvis a little bit. Keep the crown of your head floating up. Whoops, I've lost mine. So I'm going to regroup. Find my nice lift. Allow my foot to be sensitive to the floor so that everything else can be relaxed. And it's my alignment, which naturally switches on my support, and my foot that are helping me stay balanced. And come down, give your legs a little shake. And then just do a little hop to one side. And then the other. Ooh, I didn't do very well on that one. Hop to the side. So a little dynamic balance. Hop a little forward and back. Forward. Forward to the other side. One more. And finish there. Land that foot down and just really feel your foot on the ground. Maybe your feet feel a little bit more alive after all of that. Think about your standing posture one more time. Pelvis is forward. Let yourself be slumpy, whatever, ribs up or ribs down, whatever's your normal pattern. And then bring your pelvis back. Feel the weight in the front of your ankles. Your pelvis is lined up over the front of your ankles. Lift up through the crown of your head, letting your rib cage be nice and level and even. And your head is floating up, nice and light. Feel the head floating up, but feel your feet softly connecting down into the ground and really feeling the floor underneath you.